Hello everyone, Spark Thunder here. Do you want to one-shot any boss in the game? One-shot entire packs of monsters, all being a stylish bow rogue? Well, I have the build for you here today. I hope you enjoy these boss melts. Then I will show some high nightmare dungeon footage at the end of the video. So stick around, enjoy, and I'll hop into the planner shortly. Alright, let's dive into gear. First, I'm just going to go over my my generic gear used for clearing, farming, nightmare dungeons, and then I'll talk about this bossing gear down here that I do a just quick gear swap before like a boss, or if I'm going to farm move bosses, I'll just keep that on. But go back and talk about it. So defensive armor, Umbrus is really good for getting Dark Shrouds, rocks for free, without having it on the bar. These give you damage reduction per shadow. It's really great, and we currently have it set up to give us a little bit more crit chance if we have at least 2 shadows. Put that back to shadow movement. Juggernaut is insane. This allows us to actually get way over the armor cap, to a point that we don't need this total armor on our helmet. It can be swapped out for anything else when we get Shaco. Perfect to put right in. But if you don't know, armor caps out at 1350 armor. Or 13,500. Sorry, that means in level 100 nightmare dungeons where monsters are level 154. If you have any armor over this, it's technically wasted. So that's the armor you're generally shooting for, just so you're as tanky as possible. With Juggernaut, it allows us to reach that with, I believe, only 1 total armor. Yes, we only have 1 total armor on right now, and it allows us to hit that mark. Previously, you ran Disobedience, you ran several total armor values just to reach that mark, and you like only got there when you had high stacks of Disobedience. Juggernaut allows you to reach that 100% of the time. It's great, and it's like, oh, but it doubles the cooldown of your evade. That's not that long of a cooldown because of the implicit on boots that you can get. Attacks to reduce evade's cooldown. I'd highly recommend this, or maximum evade charges. So let's talk about our offensive slots real quick. Gloves, rapid is fantastic, as well as accelerating. These together allow you to absolutely spam out punctures, which really just allow you to build up your precision stacks much quicker. If I go closer, it's pretty much 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Because you're trying to get up to 6 stacks of precision, 3 combo points, which will always trigger, and then you also have expectant for extra damage. Any of these offensive aspects can go into any one of these slots. It's just whatever order you find them in, convenience. And then Edge Masters is really good because most of the time you're going to be casting stuff at full energy, just because of how energy efficient Rogue is. Sky Hunter giving you energy back, and as well as I believe it was combat on our Paragon board. Yes, combat. So you really don't struggle with energy gain at all. Let's talk about Sky Hunter. This is absolutely crazy for precision builds. Not only do you get back energy, which is really nice to have, you can get a absolute ton of critical strike damage. This is basically a perfect roll. The marksman skill damage is like slightly off, but this thing's amazing. You don't need this crazy of a roll. You're really just looking for the unique aspect to be really good. Trying to hope for 3 ranks of exploit. If you get 1 on this thing to roll, it's fine, just because you can upgrade it into 2. That's good too. But the critical strike damage, you get an implicit critical strike damage on a bow, which the only way to get critical strike damage in this slot even on a rogue. And then you also gain 126% critical strike damage additionally, which if we look at our total of critical strike damage, it's 850%. Take it off. Yeah, so in total, we're gonna lose around 270% critical strike damage from taking off this bow. This bow is a lot of damage. As soon as you get into World War 3, try to farm Varshan, you'll get a Sky Hunter, and you'll start blasting from there, one-shotting absolutely everything. It's fantastic. Only bow you ever need. The stats on your sword, this is a GG sword. All stats dex, crit, core, phenomenal. Combination dagger, you're really using this for the increased combo point damage. So you get 3 stacks, you'll do 40% more damage. Trick shot, you need this for penetrating shot. If you're not doing bossing, take it off. Maximum life is phenomenal for tanking because they made it scale with rubies and maximum nodes on Paragon, such as on the starter node. Wait, where's maximum life starter node? This, like this on starter node. Let's talk about bossing here real quick. Godslayer Crown, damage and stat that you can't normally get damage in. It's phenomenal. You can use this in dungeons as well, just because you will be freezing with your cold imbuement, and that can offer a source of pulling and give you more damage increase, which is pretty good. T-Bolt's Will and Beastfall Boots, you use these together not only for the maximum energy, but for Shadow Clone, you can proc the effects of both of these at the same time. Here, let's wait for this to cycle over, and I'll show. Yeah, it's pretty good damage. Oh, it didn't even have Impetus active, too.
I need more time.
Yeah, could have even more damage. Banisher's Talisman. You always overpower when you spend 300 energy, and we're always going to be critting due to Sigma Precision. So you're always going to do the crit overpower that does a crap ton more damage. It's great. Not much to say other than stacking it is pretty slow. Like, even if you're shooting it up against someone, you need to get up to 300, which you're really just prepping this before a boss fight or like during a boss fight, but you one-shot it, doesn't really matter. And the ring that I swap out is for elements. You don't really need elements. If you really want to try hard and just hit for absolutely the biggest number possible, you can snapshot elements from a 2-handed bow onto this and get a 60 times multiplier over here, and it'll actually stay as the element you want, so it'll stay as the cold and shadow rotation the entire time, which obviously is really broken. It's gonna get patched out of the game eventually. You don't need it at all. You don't even need elements to one-shot a lot of bosses. Elements are just there to boost your damage if it's up, and because penetrating shot is not used for bosses, because we're using rapid fire for bosses or anything that's really tanky. We are a combo point build. This will give us more damage, naturally. And on rapid fire, you get 2 sources of extra damage. You get more arrows, and the damage increases. And on penetrating shot, you actually get more lucky hit chance, which is a pretty good effect, actually, because it'll proc your Umbrus really consistently. It'll proc siphoning strikes. It'll actually just heal you back to full almost always, because you're always going to be critting. Basics, we're taking puncture all the way to fundamental, just for the really crazy vulnerable application. Into rapid fire. You notice right now I'm just speccing into the base skill. That's because enhanced rapid fire, you really don't need the extra crit chance because you're always going to be critting. You're going to be super precision pretty much always when you use this skill, so you're always going to crit with every single hit. Don't really need the extra crit chance, it's wasted. Definitely, advanced rapid fire is bugged with precision, and it doesn't work at all. So you can take improved rapid fire. Improved rapid fire is fantastic for the leveling experience. It makes it so you never have to worry about energy. You can use a rapid fire as a basic skill into absolutely everything. You never have to worry about energy. Penetrating shot. Go ahead and grab enhanced. Enhanced makes it do a lot of damage, as many points as you can. This is kind of like the weird hybrid build setup right now, so I'm not all the way spec'd into penetrating shot damage. You can also pick up advanced penetrating shot if you want, just mainly for the knockdown on elites. That's kind of the only real thing. It just makes it so penetrating shot gives you a little bit more defense because you could stun an elite with it. And the mobility, it's really your choice between dash and shadow step. I just have 1 point into dash because it gives you such phenomenal mobility for just 1 point. And then Weapon Master, more damage to vulnerable, decent damage increase. You can spec Shadow Step up to Discipline Shadow Step and get some really good cooldown out of it, and be able to like dive in between like groups or like to like the edge of a group to line up a penetrating shot. It feels really good. I just prefer dash for the consistent mobility, and I can direct exactly where I want to go. It feels nice. I prefer dash if I'm just gonna run one mobility option, or you can run both. It's really up to you. Dark Shroud, you can take more movement speed, honestly, over the crit chance. It's up to you. But this is just great for defense. You can get up to 9.6% with just 1 point if you have like Shakeout, or even higher if you have the Evernight, which I don't yet. I've been farming these and I still haven't got them. But you can get a lot of defense out of Dark Shroud. Exploit. I got 6 ranks from my gear into this right now. Phenomenal for one-shotting stuff. It's a huge multiplier. It's a 5% of the total health bar of an enemy. And often, if you're not even like, or if you don't one-shot an enemy, you'll most likely knock them into injured, which means you still retain this bonus. Malice is also fantastic. It's okay if you get like on your amulet you get Malice instead. It's still a good damage increase, and it'll be up 100% of the time, but a little bit less in terms of the total damage. So Shadow Imbuement, nothing clears packs in this game like Shadow Imbuement and Penetrating Shot. It'll wipe an entire screen and like half the screen over. It's crazy. If you've never used these two together, awesome. I showed in like intro the Nightmare Dungeon footage, and it's just like stack up Shadow Imbuement, entire pack of mobs cleared. It's great. But it's also used for single target as well because of the mixed Shadow Imbuement. This provides a great multiplier for your non-physical damage, and this multiplier can be up almost always because of how you cycle your imbuments. So like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, and like my shadows coming off line or off cooldown, stack up again. My cold is off cooldown, and then I'll do shadow again. Most time in dungeons, you'll just be hitting penetrate shot instead of rapid fire. But you can cycle your movements very efficiently, and you'll have the bonus from shadow movement up most of the time. So cold movement is here because it is really good for dealing with single targets and elites. Gives you a little bit of survivability because chill, and you can freeze as well. Also gives you great damage bonuses through Frigid Finesse and the mixed cold imbuement. Now these 2 points in the Shadow Clone are solely for activating the effect of T-Bolt's Will and Beastwell Boots at the same time. So for 3, again the energy consumption, consume all my energy, and I'll be like unstoppable during this time, and I'll get the bonus from T-Bolt's Will. Damage to clone in this build is absolutely garbage. Do not rely on this clone for damage. It is solely here to activate your nuke. Precision, everything's around this. You can get, I have here 241% multiplicative damage when I consume precision. Now moving into the Paragon. Starter board, we're gonna go with Canny. I take Canny here. You can activate Canny on this board without expanding the radius, which is phenomenal. That's such a good thing to have when leveling. Then we move into the Exploit Weakness board. Exploit Weakness, another great damage multiplier just for vulnerable enemies and hitting them a whole bunch, which is what you're doing. The combat giving you a ton of critical strike damage. Critical strike damage basically double dips into our precision key passive and our Skyhunter bow for way more damage. Then we're going to move over into the no witness board. We're going to pick up Exploit here. Exploit on no witness board, not only can you get a ton of vulnerable damage out of this, but you can also activate the glyph without expanding the radius. You move up or over and up into this is the cunning strategy on board. We're here for a very easy activation of Pride and some pretty efficient core skill damage. And then moving into Eldritch Bounty. Eldritch Bounty is phenomenal board. If you're running imbuements at all, it's so hard to argue to not take this board. You can get a little bit more resistance out of the main effect of Eldritch Bounty, which is nice to have. It makes you slightly more tanky. 3% isn't really doing a lot though. The real reason you're taking this is for that increased imbuement skill damage for that skill you use. Another great multiplier. We have Ranger down here, give you more marksman skill damage and damage reduction if you have your bow out. All right, so the Seneschal Companion. I took off Tempest because it was really annoying me because he was constantly firing at this dummy. This is just the typical buff yourself setup. If you have Evernight, you put it in place of breaking support. If you have Genesis, you put it in place of gripping support. If you don't know, Flask of Adrenaline with Duration and Tactical Support maxed out gives you permanent uptime on a Flash of Adrenaline. Genesis can boost the damage multiplier of Flash of Adrenaline to 50%. And then Tempest has a 0.9 attack speed, and even though Evernight only lasts for 2 seconds, you'll notice you can have permanent uptime on Evernight with this, which will just give you more damage to your rapid fire, penetrate shot, give you damage reduction, more damage on shadow movement explosions, will cooldown for your dash. It's really good if you have it. Alright, so in the description I'll leave the full Maxroll Planner. This will have the full Paragon Planner, as well as all the equipment, and like ideal rolls, and then like the Uber bossing, the hybrid setup, where you just swap gear and go from instantly killing bosses to nuking packs with good survivability, as well as Uber's just the pure clear version, which is basically just Harlequin Crust, Shaco. So yeah, here's the full planner. feel free to play around with it. Makes it a little bit easier to see everything. Like, oh, this doesn't cap your cold and fire resist with this setup. It you can move around the affixes. The big thing is just kind of you would change like these over to like sapphires, which would cap it. You don't really need fire resist for anything big. Wait, fire resist elements. There's your cap. Yeah. So just remember on defense values, 1350 total armor is what you're reaching. Maxroll currently doesn't account for Juggernaut. Just keep that in mind. We're actually like over armor value and max resistances. Everything else, go crazy. So yeah, thanks for watching and enjoy the build.